I think it started. All right. Ooh, I'm 3 minutes early, but it happens. It's not a big deal. So people will just come on as they need to. So, can you believe it's almost 2 weeks to Christmas? Like, when did this happen? And how did we get through 2025 so quickly? That's okay. I think it's because just time. The older we get, the faster time flies. But now is the perfect time to get your real estate license if that is what you've been thinking about doing, because I don't know where I would be without my real estate license. Either way, let's get into it. Numero 20. I feel like I should wait until at least, 3 o'clock because some people just wait. I'll wait. I was trying to look what kind of settings you should look under because I can't hear you when I call Uncle Ray. I have no clue how it would be that you could hear me, but you can't hear Uncle Ray because I'm just holding the phone up to my microphone. I got nothing on that one. I've, I'm gonna have to look, I'm gonna make a note and email me too, just in case. Why can't Morel? Why can't she hear me? Because that's weird. You can't hear Uncle Ray. I don't know. Got nothing. Nothing. All right. We're going to give it one more minute. Hello, Miss Trisha. Mm, 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 I'm already really excited to start today's lesson in a couple of seconds because I think. Well, not I think. Well, yeah, maybe I think I'm going to show you all how I've been learning this math. I know you all have heard me say I'm helping a 10th grader, so I am relearning Algebra 2, geometry, all of that stuff, because obviously I like crack rock. But in learning how to do the math, I've had to learn how to do the math. And so, in general, right? So I'm going to show you how I've kind of been doing it, and maybe that will help you in the future if you need to learn anything. All right, but it's officially 3, so let's get started. A real estate investor is looking to purchase a commercial real estate building. The projected annual net operating income is $60,000 based on current rental rates and calculated expenses. The average cap rate for commercial buildings in the area is 7.5%. What is the estimated fair market value of the building based on this data? So we know this is a math question, right? And so hopefully the goal is when you read this problem, you automatically, oh, you can't see the page within the question. Oh, maybe I didn't share. Let me do this. Do. Thank you for letting me know because I totally forgot to share my screen because apparently I'm a dimwit. That's okay. And there we go. Now you should be able to see it. Yay. Now I can put my thing back together. Boom. And this goes here. And then I can chat. There's a chat. Yes. Thank you for letting me know. All right. And then I can upgrade there. Make sure that's going. Cool. So this is the question. I just did question 20. And the goal, again, is when you're doing these questions, that hopefully you go off the top of your head, oh, I know to find value, I'm going to take the NOI and I'm going to divide it by the cap rate, right? Like that's the goal. And I won't lie to you. You have to know how you're gonna have to know that. Like for the people, if this is on your exam, you have to know this. Like that's all there is to it, right? But what I have found for you all and for myself and for this 10th grader is, well, it's one thing to know the formula, but then sometimes, especially in problems where there's multiple steps, you're like, I don't remember what to do or what is cap rate or what is NOI. So I started taking notes this way. So, okay, here you go. Boom. Why I am factoring. Oh, I forgot. Should look like this. This is my note-taking system. Now, this program we can talk about if you want to know, but what I've done is, okay, I had to reteach myself factoring. So you can see, I was like, oh, if I need to factor a number, this is what I do. I have step one, then I have step two, then I have step three, then I have step four. And then I don't know if you all have seen this newfangled math, but she has to use it using this X in this box system. So what happens is, especially since I'm learning geometry and chemistry and algebra 2, I might learn something today, but then when I go back in a day or so, I'm like, what the heck did I do and why did I do it? So I take really good notes so that I can say step one, step two, step three, step four, step five. Now, it makes it very helpful that I can color coordinate this, but here's how I would suggest it. So I'm just going to go, this is just like a working document. All right. So let's say I know this problem is talking about NOI. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to talk about value. And then I'll just do using NOI and cap rate. Because what this means, and even if you don't have this fancy dancy system, you could take what do you call it? Like just a regular notebook and make this page about this. So if I was going to do this, let's say I was learning um, I was learning this for the first time. The first thing I would probably do is write down the formula. So I would go value is equal to NOI divided by cap rate. Because I'm always going to need to know that. And there's my formula, right? So I'm always going to be able to do it. Then, if I don't know what those things mean, I might put there in someplace else. I might go, okay, well, Candace, NOI is net operating income. And then I'm going to remind myself that cap rate is the capitalization rate. And that's just the rate of making money. Right? Because sometimes you're just like, oh, I don't know what these things are, and I need to remember. So once I've got that down, oh, what is this program? This is called GoodNotes. This program is everything. I keep all of my notes here. I mean, I design stuff in here. I I love this program. Like, if we can talk about this afterwards, but I love GoodNotes. And I could, let's say, Trisha, you have GoodNotes and I have GoodNotes. We can be long distance and whiteboard together. So absolutely love this. I don't get paid by GoodNotes to say this, but me love me some GoodNotes. Um, so where was I? I think I was in Untitled. Nope, that's the wrong one. That was my health insurance. Let's see, Sam School stuff, maybe. Boom. Yeah, there it is. So I've got that, and now I can separate it out. And I just really like, there's this tape function. I want to go in here and I'll tape this off. And like how I can separate everything. That's just how my brain works. So what I might do is, okay, first step one, find NOI. And actually, I might not say find NOI. I might say identify the NOI and identify cap rate, right? And so once you do that, I would say step 2 is put NOI in calculator first. Then the divided sign. Then cap rate. And then I might go with percentage sign. And I might want to remember that. And I might go like this. So, I mean, this is a really one. There is a free version that only has like 3 notebooks that you can get, but it's still great. Right? So you do all that, and then I mean, this is an easy problem to, kind of do. So what I might do is say, okay, well, let me separate this out. So I might go here and then might give an example. So just to remind us, the problem that we had said we had a NOI of 60,000 and a cap rate of 7.5%. So NOI 60,000, cap rate 7.5%. So it was NOI was 60,000 and then the cap rate equals 7.5%. I just like arrows, so I would just do something like 60,000 divided by 7.5%, remembering the percent sign, and then whatever our answer is, which I tend to put in a box, which for this one is 60,000 divided by 7.5%, which is 800,000. Now, was this a lot of work? Yes. However, what I know is that now this was again a pretty simple problem, but what I know is if I go back to, I get a problem, I don't care if it's tomorrow, I don't care if it's next week, and I'm like, I don't remember. Yes, you do, because it's your notes and your words, and you can go through and do it. In fact, I'm going to go back to this algebra. Like this was 3 or 4 weeks ago, but I was like, I don't remember how to manipulate inequities. What? Okay, so if you're adding, I was like, what? Who? What are these different forms of equations? Did I learn it a couple weeks ago when I made these notes? Absolutely. Is it stuck in my head? Absolutely not. But now when I come back to it, I can see what it is. This has made my learning of the math for a different topic so much better, right? Yet you forget. And it doesn't have to just be for math, right? You can do it for anything. So let's say, what is this untitled? Oh, we can make that go away. So let's say I'm learning about, let's say I was learning about, what's that word? There's types of them. There's easements. What are they called? They're called, why is my brain not functioning? They're called, Candace's brain is not functioning. Encumbrances, right? So you could have this thing. I can take a screenshot and I could stick it in there. But what I like to do is I might say something like encumbrances. All right. And then you do the little highlighter. And then maybe I'll say types. And then I would list out the different types of encumbrances. And then I can, talk about. So we know we've got liens. And we know we have, different types of liens. And we've got easements. and you got different types of, easements. And you might have, how are they created? And then you've got the types of easements. And then you make notes. So let's say once I know about easements, I could do another page and say, oh, easements and how they're created. So that way, it is scientifically proven that when you write stuff alone down, it helps stick it in your head, right? But also, you have notes you can reference. So I know that was a little bit of a side note, but it is making my learning of a new topic. Like I'm gonna have to learn chemistry. I'm not looking forward to that one, but like geometry. I was like, I don't remember how to find the area of a rhombus. It's probably not going to get stuck in my head. And you know what? I don't have to take the SAT or the ACT, but when I'm helping somebody else, I am going to need to be like, oh yeah, I know I took notes on how to find the area of a rhombus and I can find it easily. Then, especially if you use something like this, if it's on your iPad or your iPhone or your computer, because you can do this on your computer as well. Let's say you get out in the real world and there's somebody's like, oh, there's an appurtenant easement. And you're like, I don't remember what that is. You can go back to your notes. So there's that. Just saying. I don't know if that helps you, but it has been very helpful for me. There you go. So we'll go back to our questions. But yeah, dude. Oh, and then we knew the answer for this one was 800,000. And if we get another question like this, we could go back. And then if it was me, I might say, refer to GoodNotes. If I forget, like just to remind myself, oh, I made a GoodNotes on that. All right, number 21. A real estate agent in Charleston, South Carolina, has a new listing that was built to resemble an antebellum mansion. What is an appropriate way to advertise this style of home? Okay, well, let's see. We've got low country antebellum mansion, new antebellum mansion, antebellum style mansion, or updated antebellum mansion. Well, I know this sounds like it's really close. So when I see something like this, I go, well, obviously antebellum mansion, antebellum mansion, antebellum mansion, antebellum mansion. I mean, those are the all same. So really, I'm saying, what's the difference between low country, new, style, and updated? Well, let's go. All right. A real estate agent in South Carolina has a new listing that was built to resemble an antebellum listing. So this is newly built to resemble an antebellum mansion. So it's not that it has been updated. Updated means it would have been old, and there you go. It's not new because new would have been we went back 200 years, and low country, I mean, that's a part of South Carolina. So our answer has to be style. Good job. See, I see y'all. I see y'all with this confidence. I see y'all. All right, 22. A 17-year-old who turns 18 on August 3rd has signed a sales contract to purchase a property with a closing of July 8th the same year. So they're going to be 17 and then they're going to turn 18 and then goes here. So this is August 3rd. But the closing is happening July 8th. This contract is considered which of the following? Void, binding, unenforceable, or voidable as to the minor's interest. Now, I know at least one of y'all is in California. So if you are in California, your answer is void. Right? In California, this is void. But for all the other states, our answer would be voidable by the minor. I won't say all other states, most other states, because I am not 100% sure that California is the only one, but California is the one I know that they say this a lot. So if you're in California, it's void, and everybody else D. All right, 23. A property owner has a waterfront lot on a river. He has the right to use the water from the river. What is this right called? Oh, you believe in Connecticut it's voidable? Probably so, Trisha. I'm pretty sure it is. A property owner has a waterfront lot on a river. He has the right to use the water from this river. What is this right called? Riparian, littoral, escheat, accretion, and I see y'all are geniuses. We got a riparian. Now, and don't forget, we're not going to do it today because I know, most of y'all know. We know what littoral is. That's going to be our water rights if you're on an ocean or lake, something with a tide. Escheat is if you die with no heirs and no will, your property would go to the state. And accretion, we know, is the opposite of erosion. So if erosion is the slow tearing away, then accretion is when you build it up, where the stuff that gets eroded away from the land, it's got to land somewhere. And that is accretion. Right. 24. A counteroffer is best described by which of the following statements? A counteroffer is best described by which of the following statements? Is it A, partial acceptance of the original offer, B, rejection of the original offer in place of a new offer, C, notice of adjusted terms to the original offer, or what? D, negotiated adjustment to the original offer. What say you? What are we thinking? All right. Oh, Caroline said B. I'm bringing home a baby, bumblebee. Won't my mama be so proud of me? Yep. Bees in the trap. Bees in the trap. Bees in the trap. Bees in the trap. You got to have fun with this, y'all, because if you don't, you're going to go crazy. And yes, you all are correct. It is a rejection of the original offer in place of a new offer. And once again, this is one of our 100% must know things for real life and this exam. You know that they're going to test you on this. You know that they are. I'm cleaning my glasses here. That you got to understand counter offers. And if you have any questions, you need to ask them, especially in real life once you get licensed. All right. What are the requirements of a valid and enforceable real estate contract? What are we going to do before we even read all those words? We're going to go through and write down what we know we need to do this. So I like to remember it as MCLL, right? MCLL. We need mutual agreement. The C is for consideration. It's got to have legal objective and, legal capacity of the people. Okay, now that we know what those are, let's see what we got. A, legally competent, check. Mutual agreement, check. Offer and acceptance, yeah, that's true. Consideration and legal purpose. I like that. Okay. Now, mutual agreement and offer and acceptance, those are kind of the same things, but okay, I don't hate A. Legally competent parties made voluntarily. Offer and acceptance, consideration, and legal purpose. I mean, you do have to make the offer voluntarily, but okay, I don't really love this made voluntarily, so let's just say that right now. You need C, signatures of buyer and seller, a purchase price, offer and acceptance, consideration, and a legal purpose. I don't really like this question, but I'm going to go ahead and, I mean, signature of buyer and seller is the acceptance. Um, it does need to have, it doesn't, I guess, have to have a purchase price. It could be just consideration. So I'm going to take C off the list here. And we got D, legally competent parties made voluntarily, offer and acceptance, contingencies, and earnest monies. Well, no, it doesn't have to have contingencies or earnest money. So now we're down between A, legally competent parties, mutual agreement, offer and acceptance, consideration, and legal purpose, or legally competent parties made voluntarily, offer and acceptance, consideration, and legal purpose. I see y'all with the A. I see y'all. I like to eat. I like to eat apples and apricots. I like to eat. I like to eat apples and apricots. Let's make sure that is what they wanted because these questions have been kind of weird, right? What number are we on? 25. They said that B was the right answer. Hey, okay, got nothing on this one. I have no, it's true, it needs to be made voluntarily, but you do have to have mutual agreement and offer and acceptance, which I guess is the same thing. I do not like this question, made voluntarily. So we know what this reminds me of is this idea of duress. And duress can make a contract voidable. I wouldn't have said it made it. I just have to flat out disagree. I think if you didn't make the offer or sign the offer voluntarily, it's still a contract. It's just voidable. So I'm gonna flat out disagree with this one. Um, and I'm gonna have to reach out to some other teachers. I think this is just a terrible question. Trisha, I wouldn't even say the made, but I gotta completely just disagree. The answer's gotta be A. The answer's gotta be A. So, oof. Hey, free questions, we get what we get. All right, 26. A waterfront property, A, is being sold. The deed shows that it has an easement running through it from its neighboring property to allow water access. Which of the following best describes this easement? And if I'm not crazy, didn't we just have this on Wednesday where they gave us some weird thing? Do. Waterfront property. Yeah, here it is. And this one, the Maria Beach House had an easement or a right of way to access the beach. We talked about right of ways and easements. Now, I just rolled back in my notes here to take a look at it. But imagine if you had added this you know, to think, oh, and I see what you all are saying in the notes. This is why do they have to be so complicated? It's hard for you to pick the best one. This one, that question that we just did that was so bad, your exams will never have a question that bad on it. Never. I promise you. Absolutely promise you that. But what I was saying was you could have done in here something about doot, easements, let's pretend, and you could have had, easements, get out of there, versus right of ways. And then what happens is, remember when we talked to Uncle Ray, I could have made notes on this page and then I would flip back to this page and go, oh yeah, right? So, nope, that one. Let's see what we got. Let's see if we can get this right. So you got a waterfront property. A. It has an easement running through it from its neighboring property to allow water access. So now we got this easement. Okay, now water access is not necessarily going to be easement by necessity. Like nobody says you have to have access to the water. That's not a thing. So is it an easement appurtenant and property A is the dominant estate? An easement in gross and property B is the servient estate? An easement in gross and property B is the dominant estate? Or an easement appurtenant or appurtenant easement and property A is the servient estate? That happens to you in nursing? Yeah, it goes. Yeah, just don't overthink. You're right. Sometimes you feel it'll make a lot more sense once you start working in the field. Yeah, it will. I honestly do think it will, like learning in context. And this will be the kind of thing that goes, you know, through. So you got this property, you're selling it, and there's an easement on it, right? Now, in real life, I will also tell you, you're not attorneys. You don't have to make sure that I mean, you shouldn't say it wrong. Oh, this is an easement of gross, an easement appurtenant. But what this should say is if you're selling property A and you see there's this pathway between the two, we're trying to teach you to go, okay, we're going to need to get an attorney, a title company, something. There's something going on here, and I know this could mess with somebody's rights. Let me find somebody who's a professional, like a specific professional on this, and not just, oh, yeah, I'm trying to help on that. So we know it's not an easement in gross. So it's not B or C because we know we've got two properties, and just like appurtenant has two P's, you got at least two properties in an easement appurtenant. So is property A the dominant estate or is property B the servient estate? Well, property A is being crossed, so it's being of service. So that means our answer is D, an easement appurtenant, two properties. And property A is the servient tenement. It's being crossed. Does that make sense? So that's how I remember it. Appurtenant means you got two properties. One property is crossing another property. And then dominant is the person doing the crossing, the property that needs the easement. And servient is the property that is of service to somebody else. There you go. Yep, it is A serving B. Exactly. Exactly. All right, 27. Your buyer clients make an offer on a home. They especially like the large covered front porch, which included rocking chairs, a bistro table, potted plants, and a hanging daybed style porch swing. So basically, they wanted it to look like Cracker Barrel. Which acronym describes the method used to determine if these items are fixtures or personal property? Okay. Is it A, Maria, B, Respa, C, Tilla, or D, Helak? And yes, you know, everybody knows this is Maria. Now, for bonus points, remember some places teach Irma. And for triple bonus points, we know, give you the plants right. They don't want to give me the plants because within two weeks, those plants are going to be dead. So we know Maria stands for method of attachment. How is it attached? Agreement, uh, the relationship. I had to think about it. The R, what's the relationship between the person who attached it or didn't attach it? Right? And then the last A is oh, I forgot I. What was your intention? And the last A is what did you adapt it? Right? You already memorized Maria? Yes. Now I would have said, I don't think you really would have needed Maria. Let me say it this way. You, as a real estate agent, will never use Maria or Irma. You as a real estate agent have an understanding because you took this class. Hey, you know what? Based on what I know, based on the fact I was taught that if this goes to court, a judge is going to use the total circumstances test or Maria. Based on that, I think this is probably going to be a fixture. This is probably going to be considered personal property. You can't force anybody. You cannot say, hey, well, based on Maria Seller, you have to leave. Absolutely not. This is to help you be able to help your clients, but it is a Maria. I'm assuming we all know that RESPA is Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act. We know TILA is Truth in Lending, and those merge together to make TRID. And HELOCs we talked about on Wednesday, Home Equity Line of Credit. All right, 28. Which aspect included in the bundle of rights of property ownership is transferred when a property is leased? Which aspect included in the bundle of rights, deep C, of property ownership is transferred when a property is leased? Is it A, enjoyment, B, possession, C, control, or D, disposition? Y'all are geniuses. We see that it is possession, right? And let's tie this all together. The right to be able to possess is what that possession thing is what makes something an estate, right? If you have an estate, that means you get the right of possession. But we know we got two types of rights of possession. You either own it or you're renting, otherwise known as freehold or less than freehold, or also a leasehold. That's why an estate, what's the difference between an estate and an easement? An easement you can use, an estate you can live there. You can possess it, right? So it's B. Mm-hmm. I'm a B, I'm a B, I'm a B. So many great B songs. I need everybody else to come up with. I mean, obviously, I like Carrots is great, but I need something better for A. And since they've cut off my access to the Disney song for D, we need a really good D song. But there you go. Does that make sense? I just want to make sure with you all, though. We're good. And I would encourage you all to make your notes and draw and organize things. Yes. The Carrot song stuck in your head. Oh, yeah. Right now, the other song stuck in my head is Put It in the Bag, Bump, Bump. But that's a whole Disney song. And one day I'll have to play that for you because it's just talk about stuck in somebody's head. 29. James, Jack, and Mariah are joint tenants on a property. So that's important to know they're joint tenants. James dies and Mariah sells her share to Lily. Who retains ownership and what type do they have? All right. So you got James 1, Jack 2, and Maria. And they are joint tenants. Well, James dies. So if James dies, actually he gets X eyes, then that means it's just Jack and Maria. And then Maria sells to Lily. Well, we know to be a joint tenant, you need to have possession, interest, title, and you got to get title at the same time. Lily is not a joint tenant. She's not a joint tenant, which means you got James with 50% and Lily with 50%, but they are tenants in common. Wait, James dies and sells her share to Lily, who retains okay. Jack and Lily. Oh yeah, sorry, I said it wrong. So this is Jack. So is it Jack and Lily tenants in common? Yep, we like that. Because it's not James and it's not tenancy at will. This is freehold, a non-freehold. right? We know they're not joint tenants because she sold it, and we know it's not tenants by the entirety because it's marriage. This has to be our right answer. Hmm? 30. An agent states to a potential buyer, "This is by far the best property I've seen recently on the market. It has the most beautiful landscaping, an enormous lot, and a highly sought after layout." This is an example of which of the following? Oh, you're starting to finally get this. Yay, Caroline, I love it. Is it A, steering, B, blockbusting, C, puffing, or D, staging? Brum, brum, brum. And we know our answer is puffing. Yay! Because because I said it, we got to go with.
I like carrots, and you should too. It goes crunch, 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 and it's good for you.
We like carrots.
And you should too. It goes crunch, crunch, crunch.
World's worst dancer over here, but that's okay. It is C for puffing. All right, 31. A property is surveyed to determine a legal description. The surveyor works from a point of beginning, measures the subsequent points that define the boundaries of the property. What method of legal land description is the surveyor using? Is it A, lot and block, B, the land survey system, C, meets and bounds, or D, the government rectangular survey system? Well, right here, I'll tell you that that's not what I wanted. Boop. These two refer basically to the same thing, so they can't be the answer. I see you, Caroline. Crunch, crunch, crunch. And yes, you all are saying the answer is C for meets and bounds because you're geniuses. We know that the meets and bounds is giving you a perimeter of the property. All right. A blank may be monetary or physical. It limits the owner's use of the property and can affect marketability and value. A blank may be monetary or physical. It limits the owner's use of a property and can affect marketability and value. Well, I'm looking at this and I know this right here is a definition. What is the thing that could limit a use of a property and affect marketability and value? Like that right there is the definition to what our answer is. So we know it's not an encroachment because that means you're in somebody's space. All right. An emblement. Ooh, emblement's a good word. What is an emblement? What is an emblement? Remember, an emblement is in rented farmland. You have the right to go back and get your crops. That's an emblement, but that's rented farmland, so it's not emblement. Now I see you all saying easement. Easement sounds like the right answer, but it's not. The answer is encumbrance. An encumbrance is something that could limit the owner's use. So if we look at this, boom, encumbrance. All of these things, a pre-existing lease, private restrictions, list pendants, liens, encroachments, easements, they're all types of encumbrances, right? All of these are types of encumbrances, and every single one of these things either limits your use or it limits the value. So when you're going through and taking notes, when you get a question like this, you would go back to your, oh, we got encumbrances, right? And then remember how I did earlier a definition? I might write out a definition. We can say it reduces value or use, right? And then color that in. Yay. And then I learn it so that I have it. But yes, crops. I see y'all. Implements are crops. I see y'all. Sorry, it takes me a second to look up, but yes, you are right. Our implements are the crops. They are the crops and the right to go back and get those crops. Y'all are geniuses. So proud of y'all. But do we understand why the answer is not C, easement, but it is encumbrance? That is the definition of an encumbrance. Okay, let's keep rolling. 33. A contractor was hired to build a deck on a property. They were paid the initial deposit, but never in full for the week they completed. For the work they completed. The contractor files a claim against the property for non-payment. What type of lien is this? Is it A, an attachment lien, B, mechanics lien, C, a general lien, or D, a civil lien? Y'all already know our answer is mechanics lien. There we go. 34. The local government plans to build a new school for the growing community. The location requires the partial use of of privately owned property to build the school. The government has the right to take this land for the public good. What is this called? All right, you all are giving me eminent domain. We like it. Eminent domain is our answer because we do have Pete. We got police power, eminent domain, taxation, and a sheet. So they were hoping that you get caught up on a sheet. We know it's not a subdivision. We know it's not police power. It is eminent domain. Now, if the right to do this is eminent domain, what do we call the action? The government is using the power, its power or right to claim eminent domain. But what do we call the action? Yes, there we go, condemnation. Now, Mariel, you said inverse condemnation. Inverse condemnation is when the government has done something to your land and you're going to them to say, you need to go ahead and condemn this and pay me my money. You've ruined my property. So condemnation is when eminent domain, it goes from government, is going for your land. And inverse condemnation is when the government did something or caused some type of loss to your land. And you, the homeowner or the landowner, is going to the government and saying, no, you need to buy my land. You need to compensate me. You need to make this your land. So it's opposite. It's okay. It's good to go over the words. It's good. 35. Which of the following zoning actions would allow a church to be located in a residentially zoned area? Which of the following zoning actions would allow a church to be located in a residentially zoned area? Is it A, fair use permit, B, a variance, C, a moratorium? Yep, that's how you say that, moratorium, or D, a special use permit? What say you? All right, we got B's. We got B's. Oh, we got lots of B's, but let me see. What did you say? Is that two when you don't like the offer? So Trisha's talking about, we'll come back to this one. If you don't like what they offer you, let's say using your power of eminent domain, they offer you 200K and you're like, no, I don't like that. That's too little. It should obviously be 400K. That's quick take. They're going to take your land anyway. We call that a quick take, and then you'll hash it out in court. But for 35, you all told me that the answer was B. You said B for variance, right? And
Houston, we have a problem.
not variance. Why is it not a variance? The word I want you to remember when you see the word variance is hardship. Somebody is granted a variance when there is something going on with their land, with the rules, that the zoning has put in there, and they're like, okay, your zoning rules are causing me a hardship. For example, if you have a piece of land and it's really narrow and your city has setbacks, remember that's where they say you can only build so close to the property line. And now you're only going to be able to have a 10-foot wide house. 10 feet wide, right? Well, you could ask for a variance, say, hey, your rules are making me impossible for me to build a livable and buildable house. Like, this isn't going to work. And they would grant you a variance because you proved a hardship. Now, this is a special use permit. D is a special use permit. Why? Because even though it's zoned residentially, the zoning action, I don't think zoning action is the best word there, but the special use permit is when they say, hey, we want this to be residential, but we will allow some other uses. We would allow for a daycare. We would allow for a church. We would allow for like at-home businesses. You just need to ask us permission first, because the goal is not to have 17 different daycares in this subdivision, in this area. You can have daycares, just come to us first and get a permit so we can keep an eye on how many there are. That's a special use permit. All right. So there you go. 36. A renovated home built in 1975 is listed for sale. Which of the following environmental hazards must the seller provide disclosure for? Mold, lead, asbestos, or radon? All right, we got a lead. Trisha says lead. Caroline, you said asbestos. Anybody else? All right, well, it's not mold. Well, let me say this very clearly. If you, as the agent, know that there's asbestos or radon, mold, any of these, if you know for sure these things are here, you check with your state laws. 9 times out of 10, you're going to have to tell people. But we know because of this date, 1975, that you must give a lead-based paint addendum. Or even if you are, you must give them a lead-based paint addendum, or you give them any of the paperwork that, hey, I had this certified to be lead-based paint free. So there we go, because 1978, that's right. 37. Property surveys can be performed to verify size and boundaries as well as any what? Property surveys can be performed to verify size and boundaries as well as any. So what are the other things? When you get a survey, what things would it find? You can verify or find out if there's A, easements and encroachments, B, easements and right-of-ways, C, encroachments and right-of-ways, or D, subrogation and encroachments. Well, I'm hoping you all know it's not D. We talked about subrogation the other day. We talked about insurance and subrogation, moving your rights, right? And I see most of y'all have said A, easements and encroachments. It's A for absolutely. That is our answer. That is our answer. All right, 38. A property owner has installed a new chain link fence on their property. They have received an official notice requiring the removal of this type of fence. This fence is most likely a violation of which of the following? Is it A, zoning, B, building codes, C, CC&Rs, covenants, conditions, and restrictions, or D, constructive notice? Well, we know it's not D because constructive notice is why we record stuff. It's telling everybody without telling them. Okay. And building code B would be, okay, well, how does this have to be built? What are the standards to the materials that this has to have? So the question is it against zoning or is it against the CCNRs or conditions, covenants, conditions, and restrictions? What are we thinking? Yeah, the covenants, conditions, and restrictions. That's what I'm going to go for. Why? Because usually, whether or not a fence can be put up, that's going to be a neighborhood HOA thing. Right? That's a neighborhood HOA thing. Zoning would be the public, the government telling you that you can't do it. So it's probably officially from the HOA. That looks like an AOA. Oh, wait, it's because I'm in the wrong program that doesn't work in here. Boom. We'll do 39. Blank are former industrial, factory, manufacturing, or storage sites suspected to contain environmentally hazardous waste from previous use. Excuse me. Blank are former industrial, factory, manufacturing, or storage sites suspected to contain environmentally hazardous waste from previous uses. Are they brownfields, waste disposal sites, condemnations, or abandonments? I'm going to go ahead and eliminate C and D. We're getting it down to that 50-50. And you all already, okay. Okay. Y'all said waste disposal sites. Two of you, one person said brownfields. In this case, this is a vocab word of brownfields. A brownfield, ooh, I wish I could. Detroit has so many brownfields. But I don't even know if, can I think of a good picture? It's like, I don't know if you all have ever been to a major city, but you'll look. And the land obviously at one point had some kind of like commercial building or warehouse. They've torn the building down. There's usually some type of chain link fence up that says, stay off, no trespassing, something like that. And there could be, it's a brownfield because it's suspected, you're not sure, but it might have environmentally hazardous waste. So there you go. All right. Okay. All right, 40. Your clients are under contract to purchase a home for $735,000. They plan to put down $150,000 and finance the other $585,000. The appraisal comes in at $725,000. How much will the lender allow them to borrow against the property on an 80% LTV or loan to value ratio? So again, you could make your notes for this. We'll do it. So I might have a new page that would say, not that, would say LTV or loan to ratio, loan to value ratio. And then I would walk out what I know, right? Just in case you forget. We know we are comparing the amount to be borrowed, the loan, to the value. I'm going to call it the estimated value of the property, right? So this is our loan amount. This is the divided sign, and this is going to be the value. Right, so from that, we make this. Our formula is loan amount divided by the value. All right, and that will get, well, yes. Am I doing that right? Okay, just had a brain fart. Loan to value. So LTV, I'm just losing my mind. If we know that it is but why, that's not right. Why am I having a brain Why am I having a brain fart here, y'all? Let me see. LTV. Jesus Christ. Let me think about this. Oh, they are doing 585. Oh, wait, that's why. Times 80% equals loan amount. All right. That's why I'm just losing my mind, right? So I don't know what that was. That was a test of my own, whichever. But if I do this, and that's okay, what I'm going to do is erase all of this. This is why else I like it. I can take all of this and just delete it. Boop. I could have moved it. And instead of trying to go, should have done like I normally would have done. I would have said, hey, some things I look in a T-bar, but I would have said, hey, if I take the rate of the loan over here and I take the value, I'm going to get the amount of the loan. Right? And we know we multiply and divide. So what I could have written out is if I take the value and multiply it by the rate, which is the LTV ratio, then I'm going to get the amount of the loan. See, and this is why I like writing stuff out, because it forces me to make sure I'm good. So value times the rate, the LTV, gives you the amount of the loan. Or you could just memorize the T-bar. Sometimes it's easier that way for me. And then you fill it in and you do the problem. So if we're doing that, then our answer is going to be 585 times 80%, but that's not the value. It said the appraisal comes in at 725. So that means they're going to say your house is worth 725 and we'll give you 80% of that 725, which is $580. This would be the max amount that they would loan you. And then I would go back to my notes and say down here, if house appraisal amount is lower, use the lower number. Right? Something like that. And then I might do something like this so that I remember that's what's going on. So that's what I got for y'all today. I hope this helps. I'm sorry my brain kind of fogged out there towards the end, but I'm really hoping I'm showing you all how, I mean, I don't know if it helps, how I take notes so that you all can do. And you said, what is a brownfield? Caroline, okay, good. You got what it is there. Good, 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 good. But and you all know, since you're in Zoom, especially since I'm looking at all these screens, you all are always welcome to unmute and ask me directly. You know, that way I don't miss it and I don't go to the next question. But I will see you all on Wednesday. And everybody have an amazing weekend. Try to stay warm and pray for me having to dig out my car again. So bye, everybody. I'll see you next
Bye. Thank
time.
you.
Bye.